Grendel's head was spinning as he laid naked on the pink fuzzy rug in Kit Kat's living room. She laid next to him, seemingly in the same state. She traced the scars on his side with the tips of her fingers, her touch gentle and curious. People usually had one of two reactions to his scars. They were either repulsed by the marks that covered nearly half of his torso, or they were fascinated by them. It seemed to be the latter with Kit Kat. For Grendel, the scars no longer held much significance. They were a trade-off for eternal life, one of the few aspects of his appearance that couldn't be changed. He could alter his hair color, length, and even small aspects of his body, but the scars remained as a reminder of what he had become. Absently, he played with Kit Kat's vibrant violet hair, wondering how long their connection would last. Neither of them was seeking something long-term, but for now, she was a welcome distraction. Suddenly, Kit Kat jolted up, breaking the calm atmosphere. "Oh, right. I forgot," she exclaimed, trying to reach for something on the coffee table but accidentally falling back onto Grendel. He couldn't help but smile as he watched her struggle. With determination, she finally retrieved what she was looking for and placed a small box on his chest. Settling back under his arm, she rested her head on his shoulder. "What is it?" Grendel asked, his curiosity piqued as he eyed the small black box. "It's a gift," she replied, a flicker of a smile on her face. "Open it." Using his free hand, Grendel slowly opened the box, revealing a small silver scarab resting on a small pillow with a chain. Surprised, he asked, "What's this for?" Kit Kat shrugged, her eyes filled with a hint of mischief. "I saw it and thought of you." With careful hands, Grendel unwrapped the necklace from the box, revealing a small glass bead on the back. He could see intricate engravings and words inside without having to bring it closer. The craftsmanship was impressive, fitting so much detail into such a tiny space. Noticing his hesitation, Kit Kat pulled away from him. "What does it say?" she asked, her expression serious. Unable to resist, Grendel couldn't help but tease her. "It's a recipe to make bricks," he answered with mock seriousness. Annoyance flashed across Kit Kat's face, quickly replaced by anger. "The fuck," she retorted, snatching the pendant from his hands to examine it herself. However, it was clear that she couldn't read hieroglyphics. "That's not what they said it was." "They said." She trailed off, her anger subsiding when she noticed the smile on Grendel's face. "Kidding, it's a prayer." She playfully shoved him, mirroring the smile he gave her. In the next moment, Grendel found himself on top of her, their bodies moving in the familiar rhythm of the night. Soft moans filled the air as their passion intensified. Yet, amidst their physical connection, Grendel found himself thinking more about the gift Kit Kat had given him than the act itself. She had become a wonderful distraction, and as he looked down at her, he couldn't help but admire her beauty. How long would he keep her around? Perhaps 20, 30 years? Or maybe even 100 years. But he realized that 100 years wouldn't be enough. Kit Kat was already 28, and 100 years from now, she would be dead. Their movements grew more intense, her legs wrapping around him, urging him deeper. The temptation to sink his fangs into her at that moment was overwhelming. "I want to bite you," he whispered between moans. "Do it," she practically snarled in response. While the bites of the Netopuri could be pleasurable, Grendel's bite was deadly. Unless someone was being turned, his venom would cause excruciating pain and paralysis, ultimately ending in death. Grendel pulled away slightly to gauge her reaction, searching for any signs of hesitation. "If I bite you, I'll have to turn you into what I am," he warned, a mix of excitement and caution in his voice. A spark of excitement crossed Kit Kat's eyes. "Do it," she shouted with a mix of pleasure and anticipation. His instincts took over, and he did what he had done countless times before. Grendel sank his teeth into her neck, feeling a tremor pass through his body. Moments later, they were both lying on their backs, with Kit Kat cradled in Grendel's arms. He reached for the necklace she had given him, pressing one of the scarab's legs into his wrist until a few drops of blood pooled. A wave of nausea washed over him, but he pushed it aside, offering his wrist to Kit Kat. As she drank, their minds connected in a strange and intimate way. Her memories poured into his thoughts, while his own experiences became intertwined with hers. Her memories unfolded before him. He saw her vampire friend, Frank, and couldn't help but chuckle at how much Frank despised him. Then came memories of her ex and her daughter. Emotions flooded through him as he experienced her love for her child, understanding the deep bond between a mother and her offspring. Grendel's fingers gently entwined in Kit Kat's hair as he continued to witness her life unfold. He tried to shield certain memories and thoughts, aware that this connection worked both ways. While he had lived longer, it was logical she wouldn't see everything he had been through. And with much practice, he could hide away the things he didn't want her to see. Suddenly, Kit Kat's body stiffened, and she gasped for breath, crying out in pain. Grendel held her tightly, comforting her through the agony. "It will be okay, it will pass," he reassured her as her body clung to him involuntarily. Her fingers dug into his side, causing a sharp pain, but he focused on soothing her. The transformation from human to Ka-Sekm was a painful process, both physically and mentally. The body would undergo changes that were excruciating, while the mind would adapt to a new reality. Kit Kat begged for it to end, and as quickly as it started, she fell limp in Grendel's arms, appearing almost lifeless. Her heart barely beat at this point, and Grendel carefully untangled her fingers from his side. Whatever happened after this, she would be his for the next year. He didn't love her yet, but if things continued the way they were, he was sure it was just a matter of time.